Okay, real talk. Last quarter, I recorded one of my own meetings to listen back. Educational, I thought. Healthy. I counted 23 ums in 8 minutes. 23.
Oh no! Did you finish the recording?
I did not. I closed the laptop and walked away.
And here's the thing, natives also pause. They also think mid-sentence. They just don't say, they pause differently. Today, we learn the 4 patterns they use instead. Welcome to Say It in English, the podcast that teaches you real business English through real conversations. I'm Lexi.
And I'm Tom. And together, we make sure you don't have to learn business English the hard way by embarrassing yourself in a meeting, like I apparently did. 23 times.
Every episode, we take one real English skill, something you actually need at work, and we break it down so it's easy to understand and easy to use. Whether you're at A2 level or already at B2, this show is for you. Okay, Tom, let's get into it.
Let's do it. So, Lexi, why is such a problem? I mean, everyone does it, right? It's basically the universal sound of a human brain loading.
Right, and that's exactly the point. Everyone does it. But here's the trick. The problem isn't pausing, it's pausing badly. Natives pause all the time. They also need a second to think. They just pause on purpose. There's a real difference between a pause that sounds like you're in control and a noise that sounds like you're lost.
Okay, so it's about intention.
Exactly. And today we have 4 specific patterns that native speakers use instead of Each one is easy to learn. Each one sounds natural, and each one will make you sound more confident immediately. Not after a year of practice, immediately.
I love a good immediately. All right, pattern 1. What is it?
Pattern 1 is called the thinking word. The idea is simple. Instead of making a filler sound like you replace it with a real English word, a word that is actually acceptable, that buys you thinking time, and that sounds completely natural. The most common ones are so, well, and right so.
So it's not about removing the pause, it's about filling it with something that belongs there.
Exactly. These words signal to the listener, I'm about to say something. It tells them to pay attention. It doesn't sound like you're struggling, it sounds like you're organizing your thoughts. And okay, let's do a side-by-side so you can really hear the difference. Listeners, pay attention to this one closely. Tom, give me the version first.
The way I'd approach this is, I think we should look at the data first.
Right. You hear that? 3 ums in one sentence. Now, here's the same idea using pattern 1. So the way I'd approach this is, I think we should look at the data first. Hear how different that is? Same meaning, but it sounds calm. It sounds clear.
Yeah, that really does sound like 2 different people. Okay, drill time?
Drill time. Listeners, say this with us. Ready?
So the way I'd approach this is... Nice. And you can swap so for well or right so. They all work the same way. Try them. Get comfortable with all 3.
Exactly. One small word, big difference. All right, pattern 2. Tom, you want to take this one?
Quick question. Is there a difference between when to use so versus well? Like, do they carry a different feeling? Yeah, let's do it. Pattern 2 is called the repeat and redirect. This is actually one of my favorites because I feel like I've been doing a broken version of this my whole life without knowing what it was called. The idea is when someone asks you a question, instead of saying, while you panic, you repeat part of their question back to them. It gives you a natural 2 to 3 second window to think, and it actually sounds engaged and professional.
Yes, actually. So is forward moving. It signals that information or an explanation is coming. Well is softer. It's often used when your answer might be unexpected or when you're about to say something nuanced. And right so works really well when you want to confirm you understood the question before you dive in. Right. And you've probably heard native speakers do this without even noticing. Someone asks a question and the speaker says, "That's a good question," or they echo the question. The timeline? Right, so it sounds natural because it is natural. They're not being fake. They genuinely use it.
That's useful. So, well has almost a diplomatic quality, like you're preparing the listener for something. Okay, so let's demo this. Someone asks, "What's your view on this?" And here's the version. My view? I think it's a good direction.
Exactly. Compare, "Well, the thing is," to, "It's complicated." Same moment of hesitation, completely different impression. Okay, now here's the same answer using pattern 2. My view? Honestly, I'd say it's a good direction. Did you hear that? My view, that's the repeat, it echoes the question. Then, honestly, I'd say that's the redirect. It moves you into the answer smoothly. No anywhere.
And it genuinely sounds thoughtful, like you're considering it carefully, not like you forgot the question.
Exactly. Okay, listeners, let's drill this one together. Say it with us. My view? Honestly, I'd say good job. And remember, you can use other redirects too. That's a good question. The way I see it works just as well. The structure is the same. Repeat a word or phrase from the question, then bridge into your answer.
Wait, hold on, but isn't silence awkward? Like, pattern 3 is the silent pause, right? Won't people just think I forgot what I was saying? Can you overuse the repeat and redirect, though? Like, if you do it every single time, will people notice?
This is such an important question, and I'm really glad you asked it, because almost every non-native speaker has this fear. Here's the truth. A confident pause looks like thinking. A panicked looks like struggling. Those are two completely different things. When a confident speaker pauses silently, the listener doesn't think they're lost. The listener thinks, oh, they're choosing their words carefully. It reads as intelligence. It reads as control. Good question. If you use it for every single response, it can start to feel mechanical. The key is variety. Mix it with the other patterns. We're building a toolkit here, not a single script. Different moments call for different tools, and that variety is what makes you sound genuinely fluent.
Huh. So the same amount of silence, but totally different meaning depending on how you carry yourself going into it. Right. So it's about having options, not following the same formula every single time.
Exactly. And this brings us perfectly to pattern 3, the silent pause. This one is deceptively simple. You just stop mid-sentence on purpose, and that silence does the work for you. Think of the 4 patterns like gears in a car. You don't stay in second gear the whole drive. You shift based on what the moment needs.
Right.
The biggest issue is how we're measuring this. That pause in the middle, that's not a mistake. That's emphasis. It makes the listener lean in. It makes them feel like what comes next is important.
Yeah, I actually felt that. The pause kind of made me wait for the answer.
That's exactly it. And once you start hearing it, you'll notice it everywhere. Native speakers use silent pauses way more than non-native speakers realize. We just don't notice because it sounds so natural. It doesn't feel like an absence of speech, it feels like part of the speech.
That's kind of a mind shift, honestly.
It really is. Okay, let's drill it. Listeners, say this with us and really commit to the pause. Don't rush through it. Slowly, the biggest issue is how we're measuring this.
The biggest issue is how we're measuring this.
Perfect. And practice that silence. Let it breathe. Don't fill it. That's the whole point.
All right, 3 down, 1 to go. Lexi, pattern 4?
Pattern 4 is my personal favorite. It's called the signposting phrase. And here's what makes it different from the others. Instead of hiding the fact that you're thinking, you just say it out loud. You tell the listener, I'm taking a moment.
Does the silent pause work outside of conversations too? Like in a presentation, when you just stand there quietly for a second?
Absolutely. The best presenters do this all the time. They put up a new slide and don't speak immediately. They let the room absorb it. That deliberate pause is exactly the same technique. You're controlling the audience's attention without saying a word. And it works on video calls too. Don't rush to fill every silence. Own it.
Wait, so you're just being honest about needing a second?
I've noticed that. The most confident presenters I've watched always seem totally comfortable with silence, like they're in no rush at all.
Exactly, and it works incredibly well because it sounds mature, it sounds professional, and it sounds like you care about giving a good answer. The most common phrases are, "Let me think about that for a second," or "Give me a moment to put this together." When you say these things, people don't think you're slow, they think you're careful. That comfort is the skill, and it's exactly what practice builds.
Yeah, I've heard senior people at work say stuff like that all the time. Just let me think through this, and it always sounds considered, not uncertain.
Exactly. Here's the demo. Someone asks you a tough question in a meeting. Instead of, yeah, so you say, "Let me think about that for a second. I want to give you a real answer." Listen closely to that sentence. It's not just a filler, it's a signal. It tells everyone in the room, "I'm serious about this. I'm not rushing."
That last part, "I want to give you a real answer," that's actually kind of powerful. It shows respect for the question.
It really does. Okay, let's drill it. Say it with us, listeners. Slowly first. Let me think about that for a second. I want to give you a real answer.
Let me think about that for a second. I want to give you a real answer.
Beautiful. And you can shorten it too. In a faster conversation, just "give me a moment to put this together" also works perfectly. Use whichever feels most natural to you.
All right, so let's do a quick recap before the outro, because I want to make sure it's all in people's heads. We've got 4 patterns today.
Go for it.
Before the recap, can you actually combine these patterns? Like chain more than one together in a single response? Pattern 1, the thinking word. Replace with so, well, or right, so. Real words that buy you time and sound natural. Pattern 2, the repeat and redirect. Echo part of the question, then bridge into your answer. My view, honestly, I'd say...
Yes, and that's what advanced speakers do naturally. Picture this. Someone asks you a complicated question in a meeting. You might say, "My timeline?" That's the repeat and redirect. Then you pause silently for 1 second. That's the silent pause. Then, "So the way I'd approach this is..." That's the thinking word. 3 patterns, 1 smooth response. You've just bought yourself 3 to 4 seconds of thinking time with 0 ums.
That's actually really elegant. And from the outside, it just looks like someone who knows exactly what they're talking about.
Right, and that's the whole goal. You practice them individually until they become automatic. Then in a real conversation, you're not running through a checklist, you're just speaking fluidly. That's what fluency actually feels like.
Pattern 3, the silent pause. Just stop. Let the silence work. The biggest issue is how we're measuring this. And pattern 4, the signposting phrase. Tell the room you're thinking. Let me think about that for a second. All 4 totally usable today in your next meeting.
That's such a clean summary. And I want to add one final thing before we wrap up. These patterns aren't tricks, they're habits. The difference between someone who sounds confident in English and someone who doesn't is usually not vocabulary. It's not grammar. It's the small moments, like how you handle a pause. Practice these 4, and that starts to change fast.
So the end goal is that the technique disappears, even from your own awareness.
Perfectly put. The best tool is the one you no longer notice you're using.
Well said. All right, we've got to wrap it up. But before we do, I want to know, which of the 4 patterns are you going to try first? Is it the thinking word, the silent pause, the signpost? Drop it in the comments or send us a message. We actually read them.
We really do. And if this episode helped you, the best thing you can do is subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a new episode. We put out new content every week, and every episode is built around one real English skill you can use straight away.
And remember, every native speaker you admire was once exactly where you are. The only difference is they kept going. So keep going.
Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you in the next one.
Oh, and one more thing. If today's episode helped you, share it with one person who's also learning English. One share can genuinely change someone's confidence at work. That's not a small thing.
It really isn't. We built this show because we know how much this matters. So if today helped you, pass it on. See you in the next episode. Bye.